Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to Cornfedbar number. I think it's five. I think this is five. Cornfedbar five. This is the fifth one I've done. This is Cornfedbar, hosted by me, the first billionaire podcaster, the Caucasian Copperhead, the Daniel Plainview of podcasting. Cornfedbar only on the Billionaire Podcast Network.
Fill her up.
Okay, this is Cornfedbar. This is the show in which Dalton Pruitt, react to Redbar reacting to stuff from the internet mostly. I think that's mostly what he reacts to is online content. It's an age of reactions. You know, who Red Bars the Red Bar? I do. And this is Cornfedbar. And I haven't done one of these in a minute, but this is a fun little thing I do, and so we're here to do it again to react to Red Bar reacting to comics. It seems like in the last um, month or so, more I'm noticing more and more people at least asking the question, "Who is Red Bar?" They say to me, they'll post it on publicly on Twitter, or they'll just ask me. They'll say, who's this Red Bar fellow?" And I don't really know. I don't know much of Mike David's history or backstory. I don't really want to know. As far as I'm concerned, he's just a guy that exists in whatever this really nice studio is that he has there, and this Jules lady may or may not actually exist, or it could just be some sort of ghost in the machine. I've never seen her, but to actually answer the question, who is Red Bar, pertaining to what is it that he does that of which that people, what is it that Red Bar does that people are a fan of? That so many people talk about, and then people ask me, well, who is this Red Bar fellow? He's a professional hater. He is maybe mastered or become very proficient in the art of hating comedians and content creators from all walks on the internet. And that's something I can appreciate because the way I think about it, because there's no sacred cows. Not even my wife, folks. Do I have something appropriate on the soundboard? There's no sacred cows, and it does seem like for a long time there has, and I do think there's like a value to what Red Bar and this entire new ecosystem of people that hate comedians do. Whether it's Red Bar or Podcast Cringe or Comedy Enforcement, Too Lazy to Try, or my good friend and colleague, collaborator, Crack Amico, because it does seem like for the longest time, comedians wanted to position themselves as the jesters within the king's court, those that dareth speak against the power and are granted impunity in doing so. For they are the noble jesters. They're jester maxing. And so these are, they've always thought of themselves as just the guys with a sense of humor who are witty enough and the only ones qualified because mere citizens, civilians, whatever the fuck they call them, couldn't possibly ever think of a joke. And so it's left to the comedians, the verbal assassins, the murderers to do jokes. And fine, okay, fine. But then they also seem to have no sense of humor about themselves. That to poke fun at them and drag them or criticize them in any way that's even valid, they seem to dismiss and disregard. I mean, you've heard it thousands of times on Rogan's show. This idea that the people in the comments, oh, they're just haters who hate their own lives and they're lashing out at people they've seen follow and achieve their dreams. And that's why they're spending so much time in the comment section. So, Rogan tells all of his buddies, I don't even read the comments. Don't even pay attention to that. It's just negative energy, which there is a degree of truth to that, I suppose, that there are just negative people out there. But then there are actual criticisms. I mean, criticism is valid. And if you are creating entertainment, content, art, if you if anyone wants to call it art, that any of these people do, then by nature you're opening yourself up to criticism and judgment from like the audience is who this is for. Like these are the people that are like writing your checks. Essentially, are the audience, which means that what they have to say, that there is some validity to that. And so this idea that you just were never supposed to speak out against comedians, and then all comedians have to like each other and just never say anything bad about it. Like they had this idea, just attitude of like, oh, we just can't even, we don't even acknowledge what these people are saying because they're just haters or whatever. Seems anathema to art and creativity itself, because I believe that if you are going to create something to be consumed by a large audience, to be for the purposes of entertaining them, then you should be open to criticisms. And I like in doing, like, even this that I'm doing now, Cornfedbar. There's the fifth one, Cornfedbar. I welcome any and all criticism, and some of it I listen to, some of it I'm against. Some of it I just disregard because I don't care. As I acknowledge it, you are right. The people have said the technical production of this is terrible and nearly makes it nearly unwatchable. You're not wrong, and I will never do anything about that. Um, but and so in all of that is to say, I'm saying all of that I think Redbar, a guy like him, is a natural correction to this like almost the lionization, the deification of clowns. All these guys going out there telling their yucks, and then acting themselves as though they're untouchable. One of the laws of, isn't there like one of the laws of thermodynamics? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So for every Rogan, for every Segura, for every Kreischer, Shaffir, for all these guys, there is a red bar, and it's a symbiotic relationship. It's an ecosystem. It's a biome. Okay, not a biodome. That's the Pauly Shore and Stephen Baldwin. Which one of the Baldwins? Not Alec, Stephen or Billy. I think it's Stephen in Biodome. I can look it up, but I won't. But regardless, it's not that. It's not biodome. It's a biome in which exists the predators and prey, or something like, a cohabitation of comedians and then their critics, or not even just comedians, content creators, entertainers, artists, and their critics. And in this case, in Red Bar's case, it's mostly comedians, and then you got Red Bar, that which keeps the comedians in check. But then the question arises, when someone takes up the mantle of a Red Bar, as I've said earlier, who Red Bar is the Red Bar? And that's somebody like me, Dalton Pruitt, the first billionaire podcaster. So let's get into it. This is Cornfedbar 5. This is something I found. This is from about 4 months ago, it looks like. And it's Red Bar reacting to Protect Our Parks. The title of this is Red Bar watches Joe Rogan embarrass himself and friends on Protect Our Parks. Protect Our Parks being the podcast within a podcast on the Joe Rogan Experience. It's the regular show that Rogan does with Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, and Mark Norman, uh, an hours long extravaganza, usually, in which the comedians become intoxicated and uh, try to riff bits that Rogan doesn't really understand, because I guess he just doesn't get jokes. It seems like for the most part. But I mean, he's one of the look. Who am I to say? He's one of the only 250 people on the planet that's even qualified to perform stand up comedy. That that's liberal. That's a liberal estimate that maybe there's 250. Really, there's probably only about 100 that could actually do comedy. Maybe even only 75. Who knows? Um, but this is Redbar watching Joe Rogan and watching Protect Our Parks. So I'm reacting to Redbar reacting to Protect Our Parks. Jules, play the clip, play the video.
So listen to this. It's Protect Our Parks. And what is Protect Our Parks? This is Joe Rogan with three comics he has no business hanging out with. Mark Norman, who's got a big problem with Joe. Shane Gillis, who, let's face it, Joe and Shane don't get along. Just because Joe fake laughs at Shane because he doesn't want to get caught not getting it, that doesn't mean that they're meant to be. They're a terrible grouping. There's no chemistry. It's awful. And then you've got Ari Shaffir, who is completely brain dead. His special Jew wasn't good. It was incredibly boring. Have you guys never heard of anything that happens in a Jew's life? It was the same old plan. I mean, anybody who's watched Curb knows that information.
Or anyone who's from a Jewish family.
So when I saw people go, dude, I usually hate Ari, but that Jew special was brilliant. Oh, is it? It was horrible. We had to turn it off. What don't you understand about this? If I have to turn it off, and it's my job to watch these things, but I have to turn it off. That's how you know it's terrible. What else do you need to know? I had to turn it off. Get it? Me. So
okay, Jules, stop it. That was Maurice brain dead. Yeah, I mean, so the thing Redbar mentions, he says here that Gillis and Rogan don't really have any chemistry, that perhaps they don't even get along with each other, or maybe there's no spark there. Look, I don't know. I I have met I've met Shane a few times. We've interacted. Shane's a really good dude. Like, to be like, honestly, he's such an anomaly in that he's not only very funny and talented, but like community driven. Like, seems like a real guy who is as he sets out to further his own career in business and do all the megalomaniacal schemes that one must do in order to succeed in the entertainment industry. He also is making a very concerted effort to bring his friends with him along the way. He seems to like have this intense desire and devotion, like desire to lift up his friends, and like a devotion to them that I find very admirable. And it does, and I'm talking about all the guys he came up with, in the during the days of the grind. And it does seem like, to parrot what Redbar is saying to some degree, that Gillis's friendship with Rogan is one born out of business, that they became buddies and started working together, not be obviously not because they were quote unquote in the trenches together, because comedy is like going to war. But because Shane was on the up and up, and Rogan caught wind of it and brought him on the show. Rogan's show being the platform now for comedians to further their careers. So the friendship between the two does not, like a lot of friendships that happen in that world, is not one that seems like it developed organically. It developed due to each person's desire to further their own business interests and career interests. Shane is a rising star in the world of comedy, which means Rogan obviously would want to have him on the show. That's going to do good numbers. And Shane at the time, was going through something, and he needed some views, some clicks. He needed some something to boost his career in a what seemed like a downturn, or a time in which he might have been struggling when that had during the SNL thing or whatever. I don't want to speak out of school because I think he was going to have a career no matter what, and Rogan definitely played a part in the no matter what part of it. That after the SNL firing, it was like, okay, there is Rogan, and Shane even said that on the episode. And so it does seem like, perhaps it's one of these for just friendships that is developed due to it's like a work friendship almost. And but that's not to say that you can't become good friends with a coworker. You can't become decent pals with a business colleague. So I don't know if Red Bar is entirely correct about that they're not actually friends. They seem to get I mean, Shane even moved to Austin, as the city that Joe Rogan has become. Colonel Kurtz did. Rogan has become the Colonel Kurtz of Austin, and taken over the entire city. And now all the denizens of Austin exist as his subjects, and we're just praying that some sort of Martin Sheen gets in there and takes care of this to save the city and in the war. I guess I don't remember the movie that well, um, but I mean, it like honestly, I do think Rogan is just an extremely dry personality, and very does even though he presents as like very thoughtful and introspective and insightful, it seems very like droll and boring. Like there's not a lot there. It's like most of his head is taken up by skull, instead of like there's more skull than brain in his head. Um and it doesn't, and this has been touched upon by a lot of people. It doesn't seem like Rogan really understands humor or jokes that well, though he claims to be one of the only 60 people in the world that can even do comedy. He's had tons and tons of people come on that show and tell jokes that just fly right, that he interprets with complete sincerity or intent, or just flies over his head, or he like tries to correct what the person is saying, like as though they've given him some sort of wrong information, that he didn't pick up on the intonation and intent that this was a joke. Very odd that a guy like that is one of the only 50 or 40 people on the planet that is qualified to do comedy. So it may just be that. It may just be that disconnect because Shane's such a naturally funny guy and likes to riff bits and be silly. There might just be a disconnect there between the two. Who knows? But obviously, Red Bar is going to be salty no matter what. He's going to look for the negatives, and look for the ways in which there is a facade being presented to us, that this is actually all fake and bad and not good somehow. And look, I'm the arbiter. I Red Bar the Red Bar, and I try to take a more pragmatic approach to these things, and try to look for the truth always lies somewhere in the middle, right? Or sometimes multiple truths hold. Um or sometimes the truth is just a matter of the way it is, reality is perceived by the observer, and there is no objective truth. You know, these are all possibilities. Now, I will say Ari sucks. Whatever. I'm not gonna have a career. I ruin my chances of that anyway. But Ari does seem pretty brain dead. Like pretty uninspired, and pretty much everything I've seen him do. I remember when he first started gaining notoriety on the internet with those amazing racist videos he was doing, and like even then, and especially now, those just come across as very hacky and embarrassing to watch. It's very forced, contrived humor that really just hinges on shock and edginess like it seems like the idea of him is like this is just this is very naughty, like this is just the way you're not supposed to be like this, and it, it exists in the extremes, and so that in lieu of actually being clever or creative, it's just trying to be shocking, but even then it just all feels so forced, and I would say that about most of what I've seen from Ari is it's all very contrived, and it's this sense of humor as a kid at the middle school lunch table, which has its place. I look, far be it from me to castigate everyone who enjoys a little edgy humor from time to time, but when that's your whole deal, it's just, you start to wonder where is anything real happening? What is the truth within this person? Because it's as Vonnegut once said in Mother Night. I think I'm paraphrasing here, but you be careful what we you be careful what you pretend to be, lest you become the thing that you are pretending to be. I don't remember the quote exactly, but it's from Mother Night, the book he wrote about the mole that was planted within the Nazis during World War II, who was to serve as a Nazi propagandist, and as a propagandist was to plant what subversive, is that the word, um like hidden messages within the propaganda, is the word I'm thinking of subversive, something like that. He's like a good psyop, basically, just a guy who was sent to World War II to work with the Nazis and do propaganda for them, and then hidden within the propaganda were just subtle, like Morse codes or words or phrases that were to subvert the Nazi Party and help it inevitably liberate the concentration camps. Um, and so but anyway, that's where that quote comes from. Be careful what we pretend to be, lest we become that which we are being pretended. Something like that. It's been years since I've read the book, but my point being that if you try to position yourself as this ironic, shocking, edgy guy, but that's all you ever do, at a certain point, they just become sincerity. It just becomes sincere what you are. That, oh, I am. Like what I've seen from Ari is just, oh, he is just that guy. Like he's not. This isn't. It doesn't seem like this is a bit or a character he's doing it anymore. He is just this mischievous prankster through and through, who thinks that the funniest thing in the world is shitting and pissing in front of people or whatever he does, just causing mayhem, and it's just lacking in creativity, I would say. And I did not, I haven't seen the Jew special. I do think that I laud him for doing it, I guess. I mean, I guess I should watch it before I even try to talk about it. But I do think that's the more fascinating aspects of who that guy is his upbringing and relation, upbringing as a very Orthodox Jew in his relationship with Judaism and that religion, ethnicity. If it isn't, I don't know if it's is Jew an ethnicity. I guess I should watch the special. But the honesty therein, I do applaud, and maybe it is good. Redbar says it sucks, but Redbar hates everything. Redbar has become that which he is pretending to be. Maybe if this all started as just an act or a bit, a way to get views and develop an audience and start a career. If that's the case, then but at this point it seems like he's just genuinely this guy. He's filled with so much piss and vinegar and vitriol, and I at times I find it highly entertaining, and other times I say to myself, this Red Bar fellow just needs to chill out a little bit. He's a little too worked up over these yuck men, these clowns. um and so that's all. Hey, that's all that. Jules, continue.
It was horrible. I'm sick of people saying it was good. I don't know what happened. This comedy community is about as dumb as they get. You could literally show them any man and say, this is the new comic. And they'll go, we love him. Immediately. They'll love him the next day. They'll give all their time and money to anyone that appears in this scene.
Oh, stop. That almost happened for me. I was almost there, dude. I was one of those guys. Oh, man. I was introduced to a whole big new audience, and it was like they were immediately magnetized, attracted to me, and it was like, man, I might start really making my dreams come true and making all the money in the world. And for whatever reason, drugs and mental illness, or just who I am, could not hold on to that. And it ended up actually going in the complete opposite direction and ruined my life. But, do I want to be doing what I'm doing now? Nope. I would love to be one of these guys he's talking about, and I'm not. So unfortunately, I have to be real and honest and grind away and chip away at this thing that I'm doing now and try to actually create things and connect with people on some more real level spiritually or whatever woo bullshit. I have to actually make an effort. But man, there was a time when I was really making the rounds, and I was, just a guy that people they got excited when I entered the room. They got excited when I showed up on a podcast, and then I nearly died and went away. Now I'm back, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing now. But he is right about that. Jules, boy, I'm sad now. Jules, continue.
As despicable as you think. You go, Santino, they love Santino. They see no problem with him. Sam Talent, oh, they love him. How? So we can't even.
I like Sam. I really like Sam. I think Sam is a solid dude, very funny. Check out his book, Running the Light, which I read half of. But I do like Sam. I disagree with Redbar on that. I think Sam is a really good dude and deserves all the success in the world. Jules, continue.
Even begin to understand that anymore. You don't even have to understand that, but that's just the nature of the matter. But Joe, Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, and Mark Norman together, there's zero chemistry there. It's hard to watch. Joe try to... these people are, besides Ari, but I put Ari has the immaturity of Mark Norman. Very low, very young, very immature. Joe has no business being around these three guys. They're generational. They're too generationally different to be around. You're not supposed to talk. An old man's not supposed to hang out with a younger guy. You're really not supposed to do that. It doesn't work. Because the older guy's usually being a cuck, a beta,
did you see Sam Talon and Howie
Ooh, that's Sam
Ooh, I wish
Talent.
that we just watched that this morning, but I hate that.
Well, let's open the experience, and I got to thank somebody.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone for a second because Robbie sent something in our group chat that Hans Kim is going on the Mostly Racism tour. Good Lord. Just really any old dipshit now, I guess. Man, I remember when that dude just was a pariah. He was not fun to be around. From what I've seen, it looks like he probably still is not fun to be around. He would just kamikaze every conversation we were trying to have with this bullshit. And then when the pandemic hit, hopped in his van and said, "I'm moving to Austin," and then became more successful than any of us. But he's really hinging everything he's doing on also shock value, and he's on the Mostly Racism tour. And he would have no career if ping dang had not taken umbrage with Tony Hinchcliffe's whatever Tony did at that time, the anti-Chinese rant he went on to open his set that following ping pong. So Hans owes everything to ping pong, trying to stick up for himself. And Hans swooped in as the to be the new house Ho Chi Minh of the new the new house ninja of the Hinchcliffe the Kill Tony show. And now he's on the Mostly Racism tour. Good Lord. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. So I get that message. Jules, continue.
So we don't have this today, but next week, hopefully this will be ready. We've got a system here that somebody built for us, a nice extension for the browser. So for time codes, I don't have to go finding them and clicking on them. He's built a process where I could just type in the time code and hit enter, and it's going to go right to it. We're having some complications due to me not trusting the developer. But by next week, I think those will all be squared away, and we'll have this sweet way to visit time codes very quickly because I'm very jerky and slow.
Oh, God, here we go. Let's get into it. Jules, continue.
We're going to bust Joe. There's a lot of great Joe Rogan ones in this. We haven't seen Joe in a couple of weeks, right?
I know I miss him.
I miss a good old Joe watch. Okay, what's our first code here?
So you can go to 10500. Everyone knows about this, but this is just setting the scene of how Protect Our Parks usually goes.
Listen, there's that Shane Gillis. What's he wearing today? This isn't bad. Wait till you see what he wears in the next episode with Rogan. Some of the tops. Shane Gillis chooses the sports tops. Not this. And that hat actually is one of his more passable hats. This is one of his better fits, yeah.
Yes. I gave you Bloodlands.
1 hour.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
1 hour.
The first part they just talked about.
1 hour and
Israel
5
and
minutes?
stuff.
Are you saying
1 hour, 5 minutes, 0 seconds.
Folks, people pay, what does Scars Club cost? $11 a month for this show, for Redbar show. Jules, continue.
Okay, now what did we say takes away the overlay? I already forgot about that.
Oh, not full screening it.
Gotcha. Great. Okay, so let's do that.
The way they think about things?
No,
you
we're
can't help
animals.
it. I bet you can if technology arises.
Okay, there he is. And we're going to go to 1 hour, 5 seconds.
Yes.
Got it. See, I can't wait
No,
till we
1
have...
hour, 5 minutes, and 0 seconds.
Oh, my God. This is too much information. It really is. I mean, I don't know what people think, all these drinks and the weed and all this stuff. And then you're on this freight train.
Man.
And really, you can't remember these times. It's a lot more complicated than you'd ever
Once this
imagine.
developer's gift comes into our hands.
It's not going to be a gift because he's going to get paid too much money for this thing that he made that probably is already out there.
It's a development.
It's a development that he's built. 1
Get
hour,
on with it.
5 minutes. See, this is going to really come in handy because it's complicated to get there on a timeline here like this.
I know.
There's no easy way to do this while talking.
So a usual episode of Protect Our Parks, these three guys get sick of Joe right away and start riffing and doing their puns, and Joe just sits there mad.
Okay.
And this is an example of that.
Okay, so yeah, Joe really doesn't get their type of humor. Usually goes over his head, and he starts getting a little nervous that he has to spend another 4 hours with these guys that he doesn't get.
A girl I dated went to a Scientology acting school.
It was right behind
And I had to
Fred
go to this
62's.
fucking thing and watch.
What?
Oh my God.
What?
One of the things that was fascinating was they'd have these moments where they would just they'd give them the opportunity to
Are
do
they
whatever
playing
wanted.
something in this? Sure they are. Look, I'm hitting play on just their video.
Never mind. Then they are.
So they'd call it like a private moment. They would go up and like pretend to read a book and like cough. It was so strange. I was like, what's going on here? And like, why is everybody?
Okay, what's going on? Why is there?
What is-
but look,
what-
I've
what are we
paused
watching?
just Joe Rogan. Can Spotify?
Does he not feel Redbar doesn't like field any of what he's gonna do before he does it? I like this is so frustrating to try and watch because he's discovering we're just watching him discover in real time that whatever the clip he was sent might have been edited with music added on, or he doesn't know, he doesn't even know what he's like. He doesn't do any research into what he's doing. Which I guess to get it, I didn't watch what I'm watching ahead of time, so I guess to get like an honest real-time reaction, he would have to not watch it ahead of time. But I would hope that there was some due diligence put in, just a little bit of diligence put in to ensure that this is a more smooth operation. People are paying $11 a month for this Scars Club membership. Redbar, you're on, hey Redbar, you're on fool's notice. Jules, continue.
Play two things at once via the one play button?
It's insane.
Well, you see what's happening, right? Like, watch. I press play on just Joe Rogan. It's silent, right? I'm pressing play on Rogan.
Is everybody Scientologist?
Yeah.
And then Callan
Maybe it
was
is them.
involved in one.
Okay.
I bet.
And Callan told me about it, and he said that like, dude, that everyone was Scientologist. What is this?
Oh, Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, Phoebe Cates was so pretty.
So hot. She quit the business.
Fire that up, J-Mo.
She was around 17 or 18 during filming.
All right.
I can't imagine that this Christmas music would be playing in the back of Rogan in like stereo.
Okay,
separate-
let's jump ahead. I don't want to watch Redbar troubleshoot his fucking show as I'm trying to react to it. So let's go. Let's see. Maybe the 21. Now I'm troubleshooting my show. Oh man, we all become the thing we hate, don't we? 21 minutes in. Jules, continue. Oh, it's buffering. Okay, well, maybe
Okay, so we have a
spoke
question
too
about what's
soon.
about to happen here. You know how
Continue.
Mark and Joe have this?
They're at odds often.
Yeah, they really are at odds, and Mark will make these jokes that go over Joe's head, and then they've been famously reported and covered, and it's kind of Joe's kind of like, you know,
Joe doesn't really like Mark's puns.
it's
He's
a
this
running
earlier.
joke.
frustrated when they all start riffing.
Yeah, and he doesn't get the jokes, and they go over his head. He gets mad, and he's been, you know, mocked and humiliated online for this. So we're wondering if that's in his head and he's trying to prove. Well, let's see what happens.
Subliminal is the word I was thinking of earlier. Not subvert. I mean, subversive and subliminal run parallel to each other as things. But the word I was thinking was subliminal, that there was a mole sent by the U.S. military to Nazi Germany to work for the Nazis as a propagandist, to deliver subliminal messages within Nazi propaganda during World War II. And that's the plot of Mother Night. The word I was thinking of was subliminal. Just came back to me. Sometimes it's hard to think of what I want to say, knowing that I'm, performing for an audience, that this is all to be watched and viewed and clicked on and all that. There's a bit of a pressure on me. And so knowing that I'm performing in some way it can make it difficult for me to think of what I want to say as I'm trying to say it. And words that I know can sometimes escape me. And, this is the skill of broadcasting. I just wanted to play with the soundboard real quick. Anyway, Jules, continue.
happens here, and we'll try to figure it out.
For a second, I was like, wait, am I wrong about that? There was one, right?
I think there was. Yeah.
China needs to
Bro,
hack
if that
those.
one doesn't go as planned, you're dickless and sad. You're dickless and sad, and everybody beats you up. If it's just like a
Smoke going off your
firecracker,
pants.
Sounds like my high school.
Ow!
Sounds like my high school.
Carry the one.
Listen. Okay, all of a sudden. So no one else is really laughing. He goes, you would end up, what, dickless?
and sad.
You would end up dickless and sad if a bomb blew up in your underwear as an airplane terrorist, okay? And then Mark says what, Jules? He
Mark says, that's like me in high school.
like me in high school. No one else laughs in the room. Everyone's like, okay. But Joe dies laughing for the first time at one of Mark Norman's jokes, almost as if he's trying to prove that he gets Norman's jokes. The only other option here is that he hates Norman so much that he's actually laughing like a hyena because he's picturing Mark being a dickless loser. That's really funny to him. I'm not sure. Let's... Oh.
This is sad, the Mark Norman story.
dickless and sad, and everybody wants to beat you up. Oh my
You like
gosh.
that, huh?
Oh my god, that's funny.
Really?
Why?
Why is that
you
so
did
funny?
Catching fire, and then,
it just blows up.
and then a bunch of patriots beating the shit out.
Like
of
if
each
it's
Even so, Mark kind of knows. You'll see.
If it's
Mark kind of knows. He's like, is Joe fucking with me here? Why is he all of a sudden laughing at me being a dickless loser? He doesn't laugh at anything I say.
You know, it is like as a meta commentary. Like it is a funny bit to do like CSI investigations on just like an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience like this. He's literally doing the enhance, show me the twinkle and the light leave Mark Norman's eyes right now. it is like as a performance art, I suppose. It is just the obsession and the work that he's putting into over analyzing the Joe Rogan Experience is pretty funny. I mean, what is there to say here? Redbar definitely just wants to find the something to hate here. But like here, honestly, what I think is going on, truthfully, with Joe Rogan, if I'm also gonna overanalyze it, I think he's just an incredibly busy guy. He does seem like he has a lot of plates that he spins, and he's probably thinking about the next, when he's gonna next get in the sauna, do a cold plunge, going elk hunting, doing jujitsu. He's probably got a lot that he's thinking of while he's also podcasting. And so, the amount that he has to fit inside of his schedule, that he has to think about, probably inhibits his ability to perceive jokes a lot of the time, or to be truly in the moment during these conversations that he has on the show. So maybe that's one of the reasons why jokes tend to go over his head a lot, or he's just a big dumb meathead. Who knows? His laughter here, does seem very cartoonish. Oh, sorry. I'm burping up the I had some hot links. I had some hot links for lunch with sauerkraut and Sweet Baby Ray's. It's my favorite barbecue sauce. And it's not the most expensive on the shelves. It's not the fanciest. I guess that would be Stubbs. But Sweet Baby Ray's, it to me is the best tasting one, and I love it on a nice sausage with sauerkraut on a bun. I had some, and so I had 3 of those, and I'm belching them up. And I know people have been commenting on my weight a lot more lately, saying I'm fat as shit and I need to stop eating like that and get healthy. And Lord God, I'm trying, but also I'm not trying. Actually, I ate like that today. So I guess overall, in the course of history, on a long enough timeline, I am trying. Like, I'm thinking about it, and I want to fix my health. I want to fix my weight and be healthy and live long. And live a long, happy life and prosper, marry someone, have kids, raise them, get to see all the cool stuff that's going to happen in the future. And in order to do that, I do have to lose all this weight. And, step one, don't eat 3 hot links for lunch. So I'll try to fix that. Don't, eat an entire, like I did last night. I had 4 Kinder Buenos at like 1 a.m. Shouldn't have done that. So everything is incremental. It's progress. It starts with thinking about it. I've been thinking about it a lot. Eventually, I'll start implementing healthy decisions into my life. Jules, continue.
And now he's laughing at Dickless Loser. What is going on? Well, Mark is going to strike back. Yes. And Mark, I don't know if anyone's covered this yet, but this is big. Joe, what do people say about Joe Rogan? He's 5'3", right? Look at these sleeves are getting piratic, like a pirate costume. Piratic. Joe Rogan is 5'3". They had a Skyrider right there in the air. Now, the only one who doesn't really like Joe Rogan short jokes is Joe himself. Joe still does not want to believe.
I also have a soundboard. One more. That one's a little quiet. That's a fart that I did. I'll tell you what, Redbar is right about one thing. Soundboards are awesome. I love having a soundboard. I got that one. Redbar, you're on Redbar, you're on Fool's Notice.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Yep. I gotta put more sounds on it. Fool's Notice, Redbar.
The N-word.
Jules, continue.
He's short, okay? He works out every day to widen, because if he can't be tall, he's going to be wide, right? We've seen a lot of short guys, like Substance does this, Aaron Berg does this, a lot of guys, the Oppenheim twins, if they can't be tall, they're going to be wide, which actually shortens them to the naked eye. They look shorter and stupider. When Joe Rogan was on news radio and all these shows, and when he had hair, we never thought of him as a short guy. No one did. You just thought of him as maybe you knew he was short, but it wasn't like, oh my God, look at this fucking vile midget. What do they call that move where you wiggle just your chest? Like
A shimmy?
Yeah, look at this. If I can doing a midget shimmy, shimmying in. They shimmy, they don't walk. That's what happens when you widen as a short person. You actually get far more...
Stop. Sorry, I got a notification on my phone. Sorry, I'm checking my phone a little bit during this. Very unprofessional broadcasting, but I got a notification. My stocks are up. I invested in this company through the downloaded the Robinhood app, and I invested in this company called Standard Lithium, SLI. I bought in at $1.24 a share. I got 121.094696 shares at $1.24 each. And as of today, we up. They're now at 135 each. Folks, invest in Standard Lithium. I'm trying to manipulate the stock market the same way all the big finance guys do it. I think we can come together once again, like the GameStop thing a few years ago, and do that with this company. They got the bid on a lithium mining operation in Southwest Arkansas. A huge reserve of lithium was discovered in Southwest Arkansas. The operation begins 2027. I think now is the time to start buying in. And I think if enough of us come together and inflate the value of it, we can get it to go up pretty quick. But then I think just naturally anyway, once they start mining this operation, the value of this is going to increase. It's doing better than any other dumbass investment I made because all my goddamn fucking cryptos are down. Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's down, XRP is down, Dogecoin is down, AVAX is down, Dogwoof Hat is down. Book of Meme is down. When is that? My meme coins are tanking. But I think stocks are good, and that's been proven by the last 80 years of the stock market. I mean, there have been periods like in the late 20s and then 30s where the stock market was bad. So I'm gonna estimate maybe the last 80 years have proven the stock market is established, and it's a worthwhile place to put your money if you can get in on something at the right time. Whereas with crypto, I don't think anybody has any fucking clue what they're doing there. Sorry, that's just a bit of a money. We're talking, the money corner for this week. Anyway, Jules, continue.
Bizarre looking, and you do a little shimmy. So Joe Rogan don't like height stuff. What time are you already there?
1:23:30. I'm going to let you do it because it keeps getting messed up.
Right? 1:23:30. And Spotify, this will be the last week. This is also the last week of these in-ears. The custom in-ears will be here next week. This is going to be
No more
a remarkable...
ear
This show
touching.
might get like 30 times better because the sound quality. Okay, Timmy.
1:23:30.
Thank you. And always do that to me. Always just keep repeating time codes over and over and over again because I'm never listening. 1:23:30. God forbid I get there. Okay, 1:23:03. That's pretty far away, but wait, I could do a 15-second increase.
Oh, perfect.
Look at that, 1:23:23.
Amazing.
Right? 1:23.
Just hit play.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you get that right? Was that Hitler and the?
Is this the Mark
That's what it was.
vindictiveness?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
How
watch.
weird is bending
Watch what
your
Mark does.
knees is disrespectful.
Okay, so Joe's all high and stupid.
They're talking about Napoleon's grave.
He goes, how weird is bending your knees disrespectful? Which doesn't make sense. How weird is bending your knees disrespectful? This is what he said. And they're going, what? What? Bending your knee? Listen.
Some ways.
Respectful.
Or it somehow or another compromises you.
Well, the
Oh,
bow.
right. You're
Bending-
disrespected.
Yeah, I get it though.
Bending
Even
your
when you're dead,
knees.
you're still making somebody in the future have to adjust for you.
Yeah.
Boy, that
That's
doesn't-
pretty sick.
That's weird. It doesn't bother
Bitch
me at all.
behavior.
No, of course you wouldn't.
Well, you're 4'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, but even
He
if I
never
was
bends
10
over.
feet tall,
What did you just say? Pitch that again.
it compromises you.
Well, the
Oh,
bow.
right.
Bending-
You're disrespected.
Yeah, I get it though.
Bending
Even when
your
you're dead,
knees.
you're
Listen
still making
closely.
somebody in the future have to adjust for you.
Yeah.
Boy,
That's
that
pretty
doesn't-
sick.
That's weird. It doesn't bother
Bitch
me at all.
behavior.
No, of course you wouldn't.
Well, you're 4'8".
Yeah.
Yeah, but even
He
if I
never-
was
You're 4'8", says Mark. And what does Joe do? Look at Joe's face. Yeah, but Joe couldn't fucking believe. This is what Joe did. Did he just say that shit? Did he just say that fucking shit? Just talk. Pretend you didn't hear that.
That's the lowest height he's ever
Nobody
been accused of.
And especially from Mark Norman, this guy that you've never understood why anyone likes him. And he calls you 4'8" to your face. And then you come out.
I'll tell you what, Redbar's right about this, man. Short guys, they're not nice. They're not. They will do a lot to try and compensate for their shortcomings. And Rogan has, in dividends more than compensated for his lack of vertical stature. He's built an empire. He's worth many millions, but he still is always going to have that insecurity about being short. I used to have a working relationship with a rather short fellow, and he was a sociopathic, despotic, very mean spirited, cynical person. And as time went on, we began to not get along, and it was and it led to the end of our creative partnership. And there were a lot of factors there, but I would say that the impetus for the dissolving of the Loud Boys podcast, the show I used to do with Robbie and Joe Gorman, I won't say which one of those guys I'm talking about here, but one of them, I think dealt with and still deals with a lot of insecurities due to his height, his lack thereof. And I think all the issues that existed with that show and its implosion ultimately were born from his inability to accept himself and love himself and make peace with how cripplingly short he is. And in his, in his insecurity, he would lash out in many different ways that were uncalled for. Constantly just being very rude and nasty. And I think the show could have gone on for 1,000 years if only he had just been a little bit taller. And so that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with short guys, and that's why they're not to be trusted, and that's why they're only allowed to have sex with either fat or black or both women. So, and I think that is the case with Joe Rogan. Probably, I don't know. His stepdaughter's black. I guess, man, I'll never get to go on that show now. But hey, Redbar is right about that. He definitely there's no amount of money that could ever, no matter what heights you reach in your career, you will never reach the heights you wish to reach physically. If you're a short guy, there's no amount of money that could ever lift you up to a respectable 5'10". Jules, continue.
Come up with this big excuse. Yeah, but
Bends
10
over.
feet tall.
He's
I
like,
wouldn't mind
why would you
bending
bend over?
That is true. I rarely have to duck.
he won't look at it.
Suck it up, guys.
I just wouldn't understand why anyone would give a shit.
Let's see if he ever looks at him.
Yeah.
Oh, is he peering over at Mark yet?
Adolf.
Oh! He didn't want to look at Mark until he could compose himself. He heard Mark say 4'8" and he went like this. When he was ready. And look at this face that he's making. Look how mad he is. See this?
That's a straight line.
He can't believe somebody would step to him like that. He just can't believe it.
Hitler.
They're already there.
That's right. That's a good
I'm
point.
not on
You're
meth.
Adolf Hitler.
Good
You're
point.
going, I'm not fucking bending down for anybody.
You got two
I'm not
balls.
on meth.
Now, Joke World would watch this and think it's four buddies getting along, huh? That Joke World don't know nothing. All right, were there any more from this?
Yeah, you want.
Oh, there's beef within the reaction community. Redbar doesn't like Joke World. Damn, there's always going to be discontent amongst whatever fields that exist. You got the comedians. A lot of comedians don't like each other. A lot of musicians are beefing. There's beef with Kendrick and Drake right now. And then even in the world of guys reacting to things on the internet, there seems to be a lot of contention between them. Is Redbar just dissed Joke World? I'm not a fan of Joke World either. So Redbar and I have entered an alliance there that Joke World is
Gay!
Jules, continue.
132.40.
132.40. Let's go. I'm getting good at this.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
No more Spotify after this for the rest of the day till next week.
Look at this one. Wait, say it again.
132.40. Where you were at is good. It's fine.
Oh, great. Look.
Check the exact
Yeah.
thing.
You can see pictures
Yeah.
of his wife on a plane
With video,
just
it's
like
different.
Tron.
Guy
with his tits
talks
out.
like a
I heard Andrew
comic.
Jackson's wife was hot.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
there's
don't know what that
video
means.
of him talking like a comic.
Yes.
Like the shit that he said about electric tanks. They're going to make tanks. They're going to be electric.
Okay, we've got Joe's first Trump impression. Have you ever wondered what Joe's Trump impression is like? Well, you're about to hear it. He's finally debuting his Trump impression. Here it is, Joe Rogan's first time ever doing a Trump impression, and it sounds great.
You can see pictures
Yeah.
of his wife on a plane
With video,
just
it's
like
different.
Tron.
Guy
with his tits
talks
out.
like a
I heard Andrew
comic.
Jackson's wife was hot.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
there's
don't know what that
video
means.
of him talking like a comic.
Yes.
Like the shit that he said about electric tanks. They're going to make tanks. They're going to be electric. They're going to be good for the environment. And they're going to blow the fucking shit out of everything.
Woo! They're making tanks. They're bad for the environment. That's like my Trump kind.
Blow the fucking shit out of everybody.
That's what makes Trump cool to you?
He doesn't
Sometimes
say
he
fucking
forgets why
shit.
you love Trump. Why would you want somebody blowing the shit out of anybody? Was there any more here?
2:14:45, our final time code.
2:14:45. Do I need to know anything about this one?
I will say that Trump impression that Joe just did and Redbar also did just kind of just sounds like a gay guy, which I get Trump is very catty like a gay man, but it just sounds like almost like an airy voiced gay fellow, like maybe not a Nathan Lane, but perhaps a Sean Hayes or I don't know. It just sounds like doing an impression of a gay guy is what they're doing. But I mean, I can't really do any impressions really. But I mean, Trump is. I don't know I'm sure if I worked on, I could do Trump.
The N-word.
How does he? What does he? Make America great again. I don't know. I'm bad. I'm not Robbie. I'm not Robbie Goodwin. I'm not the impressions guy. I'm just the ideas man over here. Jules, continue.
It'll be obvious.
Okay, 2:14:45. I thought that was a great Trump, by the way.
No one.
They're bringing tanks.
2:14. They've got tanks.
Sorry, we like a good Trump. And he's trying to do it in
Yeah.
front of Shane because he knows Shane is the
Shane
king of
Ma.
Trump.
Oh, Shane practices that Trump. Okay, what was his time code?
2:14:45.
Perfect. Look at this.
Shove it in.
Sorry, you looking for this
can
kind
move
of
their
hole?
thumb.
This size?
What's that?
You want this size hole? Bigger?
Oh, they're shotgunning beers. Okay, which would make you full and tired. Okay, you don't need to shotgun beers. And especially
Wrong, Red Bar. I've shotgunned many beers in my life. I used to be quite good at it when I still drank. It's a burst of energy. The thrill of shotgunning, the beer shooting down your throat, the pressure of the audience, the people around you watching you do it. There's a lot of things culminate when shotgunning a beer that just gives you a burst of energy. It refresh. You were born anew, and then once it's all down you, once the can is empty and you slam it on the ground, the party has been reinvigorated after the shotgun. I've never gotten full and tired from shotgunning a beer. I've only been ready to continue going, continue partying, and drink even more. That being said, I've never shotgunned anything heavy. I've only ever shotgunned light beers like they're doing here. Bud Light, Keystone Light, Coors Light, which never make you full and tired. That's why they exist. Bud Light exists so that you could drink 40 of them in a night. I know the commercials say to drink responsibly, which would indicate maybe, 2 or 3, maybe 4. But they have to say that legally when really we all know that the only reason anyone is drinking Bud Light is because you can drink 40 of them. If I wanted to drink responsibly, if I only wanted to have a few drinks, I would drink Bud Heavy. If I'm being honest, I go Coors Banquet and then cool looking medicine looking bottles. But you buy a light beer not because it tastes good or it's flavorful or it's filling or it does anything for you other than it gets you drunk and you could drink you drink a whole case of them because you never get full on them. Red Bar is dead wrong about that. Don't ever, this is, obviously Red Bar is a hard liquor guy. He didn't know a goddamn thing about beer. If you shotgun a Bud Light, you're ready to fucking go for the rest of the night, dude. I'm telling you, I loved shotgunning beers. I used to try and always do that thing where you punch a hole in it with your thumb. I had it where I could actually just press my thumb into the can and open it. And there were many a nights I would just slice my thumb open. And as I went to shotgun the beer, blood would be pouring. And I'd have blood dripping all down my chin and out of my thumb. And there would be beer and blood everywhere. And that's how we knew it was a classic Dalton night. because I'm bleeding now. I've injured myself and I'm bleeding everywhere, and that's now we're partying. Shotgunning's awesome. Boy, I miss drinking. Can never do that again. But life is better sober. I'm not an AA guy. I'm not one of these. I'm not hardcore sober. I don't proselytize about it. My life, my individual existence, I would say uh I will do better in life as a sober man, as someone who just never drinks again. But I would never condemn or cast aspersions upon those who wish to drink. If they can handle it, they can handle it, and they're having a good time. Drinking is a good time. There's no denying that. Drinking is a great time. um I don't know how people do it, well into their 30s, 40s, and 50s, like just getting drunk and having to deal with hangovers. Does seem like it gets worse and worse as the years go on. So just that aspect of it, I don't know how people just continue to drink heavily into those ages. But I never had a normal relationship with alcohol anyways, because I would drink heavily and frequently, and it had become debilitating. Um, and so I had eventually, booze along with many other substances, had to just give them all up completely. Whereas, Redbar here is always smoking doobies and drinking whiskey of some kind. I can't do that. I do have, I got a Zen in right now. Unfortunately, I'm back on the Zens. I stopped with the vaping because it was starting to affect my breathing. So the hardest substances I touch these days. I got the Zens and I got my Coke Zeros, and that's about it. And I'm not shotgunning a Coke Zero. And that's too bubbly. That's too there's too much burn in a Coke. There's not as much burn in a beer, and so I could shotgun one of those easy. um, but Red Bar's wrong. You don't get full and tired from shotgunning. Shotgunning. Jules, continue.
Especially, Joe doesn't really shotgun beers, as you'll see. But they do this thing where they shotgun Bud Lights. Joe will bring up how Shane saved Bud Light. By the way,
embarrassing him.
The UFC is the official sponsor of Bud Light now. Is that true? Or Bud Light's the official sponsor of UFC? So
thank you for
Bud
getting
Light
it right.
stock goes down, and they run out to try to save the company. So they advertise. Remember, Bud Light was boycotted, right? Because of the trans woman. We spent a lot of time boycotting Bud Light, and now the UFC they've teamed up for the biggest, collaboration in history as far as Bud Light's concerned. So why aren't we boycotting Dana White? The boycott must continue. We don't stop.
I do boycott Dana White inadvertently because I don't give a shit about the UFC. I think MMA is boring. I've never enjoyed watching any fight. And the only time I've ever watched one is just because I was around other guys, other, friends of mine who had either bought or pirated a pay-per-view and they wanted to watch it. But I do not care about the UFC. I would rather watch the Tournament of Power, a Dragon Ball Z martial arts tournament, perhaps.
This will be my greatest, most powerful Kamehameha!
But in real life, I think mixed martial arts is extremely boring and just very gaudy and gauche. And I don't know. So that's how I boycott Dana White. I just have no interest in MMA at all. And it also just looks chaotic. Like, it doesn't look like, I understand that there's skill and ability and strategy to it, but it looks just very chaotic. Just looks like two animals flailing around, flailing their arms and legs at each other, and striking one another until they bleed. And at some point a victor is determined within the octagon, but it's never interested me much. I might could see myself getting into boxing. That there seems to be more sport to boxing. Like, there's like an actual like more parameters around boxing, and there's more of like a sport aspect to it. But MMA has never been it's not my bag, baby. Oh wait, do I have an Austin Powers? Hold on.
Oh, behave.
Yes. But I'm not a big sports guy anyway. I mean, I'll watch football, baseball here and there, but definitely could not give a shit less about the UFC, MMA, any of that. Even, wrestling. I don't really understand why there's so many adults that are into wrestling. That is for autistic teenagers. Jules, continue.
Just because, Dana White got him, so now, as long as the trans person got hurt, which I agree with in this case, believe me, I agree. But you must carry on the boycott. The boycott doesn't stop because Dana White says it stops. Now you boycott Dana White for being in cahoots with the trans beer company. Sorry. No more MMA. Shut it down. No more pay-per-view. No more going to the concerts. He's done. Of course. So I don't understand how that doesn't carry over. So Bud Light is back, and Bud Light's watching all this going, you got to be fucking kidding me. Seriously? We went through all that for them to not even really care? They don't even really care? We thought this was the beer of the forgot! Okay, watch. Joe's going to shotgun a beer. I've never seen anything like this except for me drinking every drink or opening any beer or any bottle. So watch this.
Make it a little bigger. Bigger is easier.
Can I use the eagle?
Yeah, that's
No,
good.
I want
That's
you
a
to shot.
That was
solid.
interesting what just happened there. Redbar seems to possess a self-awareness. He seems to understand that though he mocks these people for their foibles and shortcomings, he also possesses some of that which he criticizes. Kudos, Redbar. You know what? The fool's notice has been lifted. Oh, hold on.
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
I guess that works. I don't know. The fool's notice is lifted. Redbar is a real guy who understands his own limitations and idiosyncrasies and is capable of criticizing himself even as he sees the qualities within himself that he finds to be lacking within other people. So I commend him for that. Jules, continue.
I like the eagle.
I like
That's
you
a solid
struggling.
one.
Watch Joe.
I like you having a bit of a.
He's getting nervous. Watch him.
Mine, comp.
Yeah.
Watch Joe. He's going to shotgun a beer. This is incredible.
We're doing it old school, boys?
Mortal Kombat.
We're doing it Luke Combs style?
Yeah.
Okay, Luke Combs style.
Just-
For
Oh, no,
Luke
we gotta wait
Combs.
for
For Luke.
Marcus.
No,
He's
I'm-
nervous. Oh, look at him.
Just,
There you go.
He doesn't know what to do with it.
Accomplice. Here we go.
Neither do I.
Count of 22.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Look at him. He's nervous.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
John.
Christmas. I love you guys so much.
I love you guys too.
holidays.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Watch this. Look what he's doing. The beer spills
He
all
fucked that up.
over him. Did you see how much beer spilled out? And he's just acting like that's normal. Let me cut you back.
That's
It's worth it.
embarrassing.
Here we go.
On the
Really
count
bad
of 22.
shotgun.
Watch how much beer spills out. And then he
it's
doesn't
Christmas.
acknowledge it.
It's Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
He's
Christmas.
I love you guys so much.
Joe Rogan's holding it all wrong. Really, while the beer is still closed, you're supposed to tilt it at an angle, like hold it straight up and then tilt it down, and then bring the hole up to press the hole against your lips, just like me and my like I do with my wife. No, I don't do that gay shit. But you bring the beer up and press the hole against your lips at a tilt, and then position it upright. So once it's upright, you've formed a seal around the hole with your lips, pop the top, that aerates the beer and creates the shotgun effect that is desired. And now you can then chug the beer in a few seconds. But I've seen people do this before where they hold the beer, sideways like Joe is doing. What is this? I got a text message. Blue Cross, Blue Shield, my government health insurance. Where you hold the beer sideways as Joe is doing, and that's an inefficient way to shotgun a beer because you see Joe spills the goddamn beer all over himself. There's no you don't there's no reason to hold it that way. Just hold it at a tilt so you create an air pocket, and all the beer stays in the can as long as it's tilted, and then you bring it up to your lips, form a seal, and pop the top. This is amateur hour. See, this is what happens when you don't go to college. You don't learn these valuable life skills. I paid tens of thousands of dollars a year to learn how to do these things, at various college gatherings and galas and cotillions. And that's the value of secondary education in this country. Don't let people tell you nowadays that college is a scam or not worth it, or that you're supposed to go in the trades, because you would not learn how to drink like a professional otherwise. Jules, continue.
So much.
I love you guys too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Look at this. Spilling that was a river. No one else spilling, by the way. He's covered. He's covered in baby beer.
Here's the thing.
Luke's already walking away.
Yeah, but here's the thing too.
Look,
This I've got some in here too.
no. No one else has any left. So he spills half the beer on him. He drinks about 2 dang sips, and then he goes, I got a lot left in here. I think, shotgunning, it's still leaving.
If you're good at shotgunning, it's only about 2 sips, and they're really big sips. That's the thing. I could take down a can of Bud Light easy. 2 seconds, no fucking problem. And it would be 2 sips. You'd be amazed at how quick that beer would be drank. And then when I'm done, toss me another beer. I'm drinking another one. Maybe not shotgunning it, but I'm definitely drinking another beer. This one's going to take me about 10 seconds to drink, because I drink them hard and I drink them fast. And then I black out and creep out scare all the hoes at the event, at the party. I'm scaring the hoes when I black out. And then I got to wake up the next day and send some text messages apologizing for the things I said and did at the function. So I had to quit drinking. I was blacking out too much. Jules, continue.
Leaves a lot left. Meanwhile, all the other cans are dry. Shane's can is dry as if a vacuum cleaner sucked it all out. Even Ari Shaffir, a crippled Jew, is able to do this. But Joe is covered in beer. He doesn't acknowledge, if you soak yourself in beer, that's enough to soak through a hoodie.
He
pretends it didn't happen. I hope people saw how much spilled out.
Look at he's soaked.
He's soaked right now. And he won't acknowledge it, and now he's going, there's still a little left. I guess that's just what happens, right?
Like, it's not easy to get it all out.
You got to go not this way,
but that thing is. But what I'm saying is the Eagle's way better.
Yeah, but look,
Eagle's way better.
Eagle's good.
That's empty.
The Eagle's pure.
Shane's empty.
I got a touch in here still.
Oh,
the Eagles football team.
And then he has to prove that he could finish it. He goes, I got a touch in here still. I've never seen him this nervous, and now he's going to drink the rest of the queer.
It's still good. That's pretty empty.
Like, look, this is pretty empty too, but look what I have to do. Shane, look what I have to do.
Shane, look what I have to do.
Jalen Hurts is going to be good.
Shane's embarrassed
swish
of
it
you.
around to get the last out. What I'm saying is just like the Eagles the only way to.
Well, it doesn't happen with Shane. He doesn't have to swish shit. No spills. He's shotgunning it. That's important. It's very important to do this right. You've been humiliated once again. Should we shotgun this shot? You guys want to shotgun a shot with me? Throw on some new Kanye. Do you have that available? This new Kanye is the best music I've ever heard. Oh, I don't think... I do believe that. Look at the shirt I got. This is $7,000 from Sports World, which is a company that resells sports clothing. What is that called? That marketplace owned by that Jew? Who's that guy who racks up the prices of stuff? StockX. Oh, you ever use StockX?
All right, I think that's probably it. All right, well... Oh, I'm still screen sharing. Whoops. Okay, hey, folks, that was Cornfedbar 5 reacting to Redbar reacting to Protect Our Parks. In the interest of geniality and amicableness, or to give the benefit of the doubt, to be honest, I do think that Rogan is very good pals with all 3 of those guys. And I feel silly, talking about these people this way. I don't know them, but I mean, I've watched those podcasts before, and it does seem like they're buddies having a good time. I might agree with Joke World on that. I might be as gay as Joke World when it comes to that show. Oh, I just hit the soundboard and I realize I'm not even projecting the sound here. Hold on. Gay.
Gay!
There we go. Yeah, I don't like to be too cynical all the time. I try to actually be fair, and I do get the feeling that, Protect Our Parks is, as an audience member, is a friendship simulator. That you're watching people be friends, professional friends. Maybe that's the value of the show. But Red Bar has a job to do, and that's to hate and find the bad and everything. Um, but I think Joe's the elder statesman of podcasting, and he's hanging out with his buddies, and they're just having a good time. And though I may not really not care for one of them, and I'm, más o menos on Joe. I think Shane and Mark are very, very funny, very talented fellows, and deserve all of their success and the blessings that have been showered upon them. They're cool dudes, funny. And I'm not saying this to, I don't just say things to try and further my own career, because I don't have one. I have no hope of one. So I'm calling it like I see it. I think they are just very talented dudes, and they're there with two other guys. In Red Bar is, his talent is in broadcasting and hating, and what is my talent? Who knows? Maybe there is none. Patreon. Let's plug the Patreon before we get out of here. Patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Please subscribe. We got a $5 tier, $10 tier, $15 tier, and a $25 tier, which gets you the Fraternal Order of Cornfed decal after 3 months of being subscribed. So it is effectively $75 for a sticker. I mean, you still also get access to all the premium episodes of bonus content, and you get the decal after 3 months. You are welcome, upon subscribing to that tier, to send me a list of your enemies, and I will call for a jihad upon them on Cornfed, the flagship show of the network, of the Billionaire Podcast Network.
Fill her up.
And then, even better, once you get the decal,
What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
once you get the decal, you are welcome to reach out to me if you so desire, and let me know you got it, and then we'll have you on as a guest on the show. We'll do a full interview with you and hang out and riff bits together, and it's a good time. We just did that with we did one with Chris Elliott, a very talented artist based out of North Carolina, and then we had on Michael Hall recently, who got the decal, and those were very fun episodes. So if you subscribe to the $25 tier and get the decal, you can just come on the show. But if you don't want to spend $25 a month on a podcast recorded over Zoom, there is the $5 option, the $10 and the $15 options. And that's patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Folks, this has been Cornfedbar, episode 5. I'm going to try and do more of these. I feel as though I was a little rusty coming into this, because it's been a while since I've done one. So I'm going to keep doing these. I'm going to try and do them more regularly, because this is fun, and I think folks seem to enjoy reacting to people reacting to things. So it's the age of content, the age of reactions. So I'll keep plugging away at this endeavor as I do with all my other endeavors, in hopes of chiseling out some semblance of a life for myself. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Cornfedbar, the show in which I react to Redbar reacting to stuff, and that's it. Stop.